God have mercy on us all.
Did I screw that up?
And you can listen up for a little.
Well, today, I have a special guest with us, a person I've known for a while, since my St. Paul's days, Ibraim Nascimento, who is an artist and really just an overall amazing human being. And so thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
A lot. I would love just to hear some about your story. I came to know you through your art, and then through your working at the church, both with what you were doing with at the time the children's ministry, and then to kind of pull back the curtain to realize, you're a serious painter. This is. You've done things corporately and everything else, but you're a serious painter. I'd love just to know a bit of your story and what brought you to this chair today.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for the opportunity. It's not easy as an immigrant getting on place. In the U.S. and every time a little window open here and there, I wanted to be awake of those moments and say thank you and use it wisely. So my name is Ibraim Nascimento. I am an Afro-Latino artist from Brazil, and I have been living in the U.S. for about 15 years. Wow. And Houston became my second home.
Okay.
When I got here, I didn't know any English or Spanish. It was me and my Portuguese. and like, good luck. And
like, you knew zero English when you got
Zero.
Wow.
I remember my flight to Houston was stopped first in Miami. And I was like, what do I do now? Because I didn't know where to go or what to do. I was just floating in this country without know how to get the next flight.
Yeah.
And I saw some people speaking Spanish. Because of my Portuguese, I could pick up Spanish very well. I'm like, okay, here and there.
Yeah.
So I finally got in here. So like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. So I figured out that learning Spanish would be my getaway,
Yeah.
And from there, I started working in all kind of space here in Houston, all kind of job. And I remember back in Brazil, dreaming about working on doing makeup for how do you call it, ghost house, like Halloween house,
haunted houses.
Yeah,
that was your big dream.
Yeah, my big dream, right? I'm like, I want to go to the U.S. and working on
in a
makeup
haunted house.
and haunted house makeup, and then I got here and I got the job.
All right.
And I was like, this is my dream. And then when I was doing it, it was so bad, the work, the field, the whole thing, that I sat so sad and crying. So like, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
And it was so sad to realize that. So back in Brazil, I was already a painter, an artist.
Okay.
And I am from a place that we call Cachoeira. It's on Bahia, in Bahia. It's the northeast of Brazil.
Okay.
Is where we have the biggest concentration of Afro-descendants in Brazil. And in this small town named Cachoeira, where I was born, the mix of culture, the indigenous, the black community, and the white community is very mixed. It's very colonial. There are a lot of Portugal influence, but also African, indigenous. And so I grew up on this almost a mystic place where everything about culture and religion was kind of allowed in intertwined. And so it was easy for me to pick up my art skill on this place that they were allowing us to express so much in terms of culture.
Okay.
It was so rich in culture, and was so easy for me just go out to buy a bag of bread, right, on the street, and see a folk art manifestation just happening in the middle of the street. Like Tuesday afternoon, you're walking, and then there's a group of people just playing samba and dancing and have the traditional clothes on.
Okay.
And then we turn the corner. There's a procession just crossing the street with the bandit playing with the saint. And then you turn around and there's a group of people making a Afro-Brazilian ceremony. And like every day, I remember I was living next to this African religion place next to my house, and then every day at night, they would play drummers and evoking and the spirits and all of that. And I remember just be afraid to go to the kitchen and listen to the drummers, but then it started to become my every day, and I started to go dancing to the kitchen till when I moved out and I started to missing those sounds.
That's great.
So telling all of that, all this background about want to be a horror movie artist, and religion and mix of all of that, that is where, just to tell you that to get in the place like Houston, that the mix of culture is so big.
Yes.
That we have so many doors of culture here. You go to a corner, you have an Asian restaurant, and then you have an African, you have South America, you have everything in this city. Unfortunately, everything is so segregated, and then for me, it's hard to look at it so segregated, and because I came from a place that everything is intertwined.
Yes. All the cultures.
Yes. When you look at my work, you will see a lot of African mythology and religion, and also you would see a bunch of saints and halos, and even sometimes a mix of both. You would see a African god with a halo and holding a baby Jesus, and then you'll be like, what's going on here? What is that thing? But that's the root where it comes from in Brazil, where we have, like, in this city where I come from, Matt, they have the sisterhood of the good death. Good death.
Good dad or
death?
Good death. The sisterhood of the good death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the sisterhood of Our Lady of the Good Death.
Okay.
So they pray. It's a group of women that they pray for the image of Mary, the body of Mary, when she died, and then they celebrate it, and the next day they celebrate the body of Mary going to the sky.
Okay.
So it's a mix of religion. They are Afro-descendant women that practice candomblé, that's Yoruba religion, from Africa. And then they have the Orishas, that would be the African goddess.
Right.
But also it happening in the Catholic Church.
Yes.
They pray
Yes,
for a
of
saint.
course.
So is
Interesting.
a mix.
It's a mix.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like when you have food from different cultures that are brought together, and you have this like amazing kind of
Something
dishes that
between.
are created.
Exactly.
It's like that with beliefs, that these beliefs get all mixed together over time.
So when you have this flavors mixed, you have something much more strong, much more interesting.
Yes.
It's like you eat just bread, but then you eat just butter. And then, but
Yeah.
when you mix them together, you have something,
You have 15 pounds
right? Of goodness.
of goodness.
And then, so what I try to translate in my art is that mix.
Okay.
That when you look at me, a lot of people look at me and it's like, "Are you black?
Are you?
What? You're not black? What's going on in there?" I'm like, "I'm Brazilian. I'm an Afro-Brazilian, so I have a little bit of everything." And I identify myself as a black man,
Yeah.
Afro-Latino. And sometimes it's hard for me to be an Afro-Latino because I fall again in this groove in between.
Hey, pick one is what
Yeah.
Yeah. Right,
and then
right.
they're like, we are the Latino group. We are the black
yeah.
group. And we want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I believe so. I can walk in between.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You in your own body represent that.
Yes.
And so your art also is a deep place of crossroads of things that often we wouldn't think to put together, but actually are put together when people from different places come together.
Yes. Yes, definitely. If you look at my website, you will see me work with the black community, with the indigenous people, and you'd see me literally fighting on the field with a group of indigenous people, fighting the government in Brazil against the miners,
Yes.
and all of that. And this is my activist part.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love to do because the good thing about being this mixed person is that I don't feel like a fraud when I'm in the black community, work with them, or with the Latino community, or when I work with on the church, and I don't feel that I'm just bouncing around.
Yes.
Like, oh, let me do here and there. And like, no, I do have roots on those places. I remember as a kid, my grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness,
Uh-huh.
and she wasn't allowed us to go to even look at the Catholic Church. But it was a small city full of
Catholic churches.
Exactly. And I was just walking by, and my eyes was just like look inside those church that it was open door
Yes.
with those
Stained glass?
Portuguese tiles
Okay.
with all the Jesus histories on
Yes.
the wall, beautifully done.
Yeah.
All the gold leaves on.
Yeah.
There is a church there that is all in gold. Everything gold. Everything in the church is gold. You get in there, it's just like
Wow.
too much. And then I'm like, I want to get in. I want to look at. And my grandma was like, no, you're not allowed to. So unfortunately, my grandma passed when I was 13. And then when I was 15, I joined the youth for the Catholic Church. And I was able to get in there and fall in love with those images and see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have seen the saints that goes to the processions that they have those clothes on.
Yes.
We call, I don't know how to call here, but we call hoka. So they have the hands and the face, but inside it's just like a structure, just like
Okay.
a piece
Yeah.
of wood
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And then I was going the back and I'm like seeing all those saints naked, and I was like, whoa, this is art, right? For
Right.
me. And then I was using this concept to talking about how we have a different structure, like when we take off this protection, when we take off everything, like what stay, like
What holds us up?
what holds us up, like when you go to a procession and then you see the devoted people there carrying the saint,
Yes.
and the saint is all dressed up and have flowers and have the halo, and then they put it back and it's just a shell. Like, I remember, because I was studied to be a priest. I want to be a priest at the time.
Okay.
Like, I want to be a priest. And I was like, what? Who are you without God, right? If you take off all the God's protection, the halo, and then you're just shell. And I started to take pictures of those images and then reproduce it to show them as human beings without God, without faith.
Yes.
It's just a
Just
shell.
the shell.
And then bring it back an image of real people instead, the saints, but real people that I know. This man that lives in this house, and was going there, ask them permission to take a picture of him, and then put a halo, and then question at the time, who gives the power to somebody to make a human a saint. And like, I think so. I have it. I think so. I have this power as an artist,
Yes.
because as an artist, once you sign in whatever you have, is an art,
Yes.
right? If you have this table here and I sign it as a piece of art and I put it in the gallery, nobody will touch this table because it's a piece of art, right? And it's in the gallery. So then it becomes what I call it.
Yes.
If I call like, I sign it and I title there, tablecloth. That became a tablecloth, and nobody questioned it. If I take a picture of this man and I put a halo, people look at this picture as the saint. And at the time I was like, I do have this power.
Yes.
And then, but my power at this time was to question, right? I'm not here to bring solution for anything. I'm here to bring
Take
questions. And at the time it was a very good time that I was using my talent to acknowledge people that we walk every day by them, because I was a small town.
Yes.
But they are doing so good, so much good, but nobody's seeing.
Yes.
And then just this man that fixes shoes, but you hear the stories, and then you go like, whoa, you are different. You're different. And then like, how do I tell this story to others and bring this halo on him? And then people wanted to know what's going on with this guy. Who is this guy? Who gives you the power? Why are you calling him saint? I'm like, you need to go there and figure out.
That's great. That's great.
And then it at the time was a really good thing. It's like right now I'm working on this series that I wanna call navegar. It means navigate.
Okay.
To navigate. Is navigate is when you got the boat.
Yes, to navigate. Yeah.
That's about kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's a series of kids, and talks about we as a kid. We have a freedom of recreation.
Yeah.
We know what we want. I believe you have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to remember your kid as a baby, 2 years old, trying to just grab something. Like, you cannot have this, you cannot have that, and then they are just like, because they know what they want. They walk away for somebody. They come and they look at your face like they walk away from you, because they know what they want. They know who they like or who they don't like.
Yeah.
They know the answers. They know what they want to eat, what they don't want to eat. It may be good or not good, but they know what they want. They want that toy. They want the red ball. They go after. You're like, no. They're like, give me that. I'm going to scream.
Right.
And so, being an adult, we lost a lot of all of that. You see a kid get a paper, and then they go like, make a circles, and you're like, what is this? And they're like, oh, this is my house. This is mom cooking. This is daddy cooking with her, and this is my sister playing in the backyard. And you see nothing, but they know what they're doing. They know what that is. And if you come in 3 days after and ask them the same question, they're going to say exactly. And working with kids as an art teacher, I have seen it many times. And it's amazing how sure they are when they do this type of thing.
So tell me, in terms of an artist, what's the importance of art then? I mean, because it seems that as kids, there's an innate sense to want to create. That there is, before we deem something good or bad, or art or not so good art, there's just something that wants to create and be put out there. Where does that come from, and what about that draws you to it?
Somebody made me a similar question once, and then I'm like, I know when we see a bird making a nest, it's just natural, right? When we see a spider making a spider web, so interesting, is just natural. It's not art. Because they don't have the intention. They don't say, right? The bird will not say, look, this is a piece of art. Even though there's a bird, I don't know the name of this bird. When they wanted to go to the acasalamento, and this bird find a place, and they pick all the flowers from this place and clean up. They literally clean up the place. And then they start to dance. And it's so interesting that they go there. There are a lot of twigs, leaves and stuff, and they clean
everything,
and start to dance. And so starting with this, I would say it's part of nature, making beautiful stuff, make things functional, and sometimes not functional. It's just beautiful.
That's beautiful.
And we do that, but we have conscience, right? We have conscience. When we make something just because we know how to make, like the spider, they know how to make the spider web, and we can reproduce it, and they were like, oh, but this is interesting. We have a conscience of that.
Right.
Then we know that it is good, that it is beautiful. And then it starts to comfort us. One day, an artist, she's Fernanda Montenegro, her name is. Somebody asked, what is art for? It's just art just exists to to comfort us. It's to comfort us. There's this urging of be comfortable as a human being. Just living in a space where you need to fight we need to hunt for your food.
Right.
We need to drive. We need to work. It's always too much stress every time. And the artist is there to comfort.
To comfort, yeah.
And good. Then but also to question. Imagining. I'm going to show you as an example here of a work that I did with a group that we call Picnic. One day we came in a plaza in Brazil, in front of the church, where usually stay there a lot of unsheltered people.
Okay.
just there asking for food, and sleeping there. Big plaza in front of a church. We came and we set up a picnic, just like on the movies, on the cartoon. Platter, tablecloths, food, the cake, the watermelons, the fruits, the soda, the big jar of juice, just like on the movie. Imagine like on a cartoon, something on the cartoon with a basket and everything. We set up all of that. Immediately, the unsheltered people start to look at and coming closer. As soon we left, they said like, "Is that for us?" And I'm like, "You can enjoy." And then I thought in my head, they all going to jump in there, they're going to destroy it. No, but they sat together, they play, and then they would play fancy, getting the cup and make cheers. And it was so interesting observing them work on this concept and then create, like they know what to do, how to act. And they were pretending they were big family. Sit there, sit there, clean your hands. And then they invited everybody. So the people that were walking by every day there start to looking like, what's going on here? Why those people are eating on the street? Why they like in the plaza? Why those people are eating here, right here in the plaza? Like, because picnic would be in a garden, in a park, right? But it's here in the plaza, in the middle of downtown, everybody working. And I'm like, the point is, those people were there eating out there on this place every day, but they became invisible for you.
Yeah.
So this is our.
So art can make the invisible visible. It can make those things that we put away from our mind central to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So let me ask you this: when you were growing up in Brazil and you're in this kind of cultural crossroads, like what? When did you discover that you had art that was living inside of you that you wanted to kind of express for the rest of your life? How did you become an artist, or when did you first realize?
I am a number 10 of a family.
I
have 9. My mom had 10 kids. Yeah, my mom and dad, they have 10 kids together. My dad had 10 more, so we're 20.
There's 20 kids.
Yeah.
In your family.
Yeah.
And you're number 10.
I'm number 10.
You're the middle child, is what we call that.
See, but for my mom,
dear Lord.
But actually, I'm in number 10 for my mom.
Okay.
But I'm the last one I'm the last one actually. Everybody. So I'm number 10 for my mom. But all the other ones, most of them, they are artists somehow. Yeah, I have fashion designers, I have a hairstylist, I have a flower arrangement person.
All out of your siblings.
Yeah, seamstress, and everybody there have something connected with art and religion. And so growing up in there, I have seen every time people come in there to make costumes for carnival.
Okay.
Or people coming and ask my brother to be drawing a closer to sewing. And how do you call it? The fashion drawing?
Fashion designer?
Yeah. And also because we're a big family, mom and dad didn't have much money. So they would bring just box for us and paper and pencils. And I was creating at the time the Super Friends.
Okay.
I was drawing my own Super Friends, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, Superman. And then we were drawing those ones and we were playing with them as like action figures, but made of paper. And then with cardboard, we make the car, the Batmobile, and all of that. Was at the time a dental paste that came in a clear box that we were making the Wonder Woman jet.
Okay.
And then, so imagine you being a kid, and then you have your brother that make arrangement with flowers, and then there's always materials there. And I want to play jungle. I go there, got some of those leaves and put it here. And then I go with my other brother that was making decoration on bottles with glass balls and stuff like this. And I go there, grab this and that, get a paint.
So there's just material everywhere that your siblings had. And so that became just all the material for your own imagination.
Exactly. And then just walking every day in the street, people will doing something artistic. Going to school, I figured out that I could draw, right? Drawing here, and people like, whoa, 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 whoa. Teacher was like, oh, can you draw on the easel, like on the blackboard? I was getting the chalk and go to the backboard and go do a framing in there. And everybody like, whoa, you're so talented. And because it was a small town, my teacher were my siblings' teachers too. And it was too much pressure, because imagine you go to school and say like, man, your brother was amazing, so smart. I'm like, man, I need to be too, right? And like, they're so artistic. And then like, what is your talent? What is your talent? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I can draw here. And then was a museum in the city that was doing a biennale. Biennale is an art competition.
Okay.
And like very fancy and very important for the world of art. And so I'm like, I wanna be part of this. I wanna be part of this. I see so many different artists, so many interesting people coming, and then people are like, you should apply, Ibraim. You have talent. You should apply. And I would say like, I don't think so. I choose to be an artist. I think so. It was there. The city was there. The family was there. The teacher were there. And the talent, right? Yeah. When I woke up, I was in this church with everybody asking me, hey, can you paint Jesus over here, because we need to do this decoration. Oh, do you know in Corpus Christi that they do this rug of
flowers,
wood saw. The dust, the dust for the wood.
What is wood? Sawdust.
Sawdust, yeah, sawdust. And then I was dyeing it with pigment.
Okay.
And make beautiful carpet on the street, like miles and miles. Me and the group, like just making beautiful rugs, and people like, whoa, you're so talented. You're so talented. And then people started to pay me to do this and that. When I figured out I was making money for art, and like, yeah, I think so, I can do this.
So what was your decision to come to the United States, and how did that happen?
I met Elizabeth, that's the mother of my kids, in Brazil. And then she said like, oh, there's an opportunity in Berkeley. If you want, you can write a project in Berkeley University, and you can come and do a speech about your art without English. And so I came, and then she was the translator, and it happened amazingly. So they invited me again. I came, and for the third time I came, and I'm like, I think so, I can stay. And so
that's great.
Yeah, I am.
So why Houston?
Because she's Houstonian.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so I ended up in Houston, and it's funny because I was working at the church as a teenager, and then I decided that I didn't want to work for the church anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm done. I don't want to work for the church anymore. I'm out. And then I was working in I moved to the capital of Bahia, because I was in a small town, I moved for the capital. And then a guys needed help in the church, and like, hey, could you help me? I'm like, sure. When I figured out it was a church, I was working there again for a while. And then I moved out to Houston. I'm like, well, nobody knows here that I have worked with church. I'm good. And then this lady came like, hey, man, I need an art teacher to teach art at St. Paul School. And then I went there. That is a church. And here I am.
That's great. Because you were working at Trader Joe's for a while, weren't you, in the art?
I did. I did join the art team there. I saw Trader Joe's at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a really cool store. And then when I was here, I figured out that they opened the store here. I just came like, please let me work here. And because it's so cool, and the art. And I didn't know there's a art team. And everything Trader Joe's
that's right.
handmade.
Yeah. Everything's handmade.
They don't buy any they don't print out anything. Even the prices.
All handmade.
Handmade.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare. Imagine it was holiday timing. I don't know how many items new. Like, we need this for today. Like change all the prices and make all new labels for everything.
Everything's handmade.
Yeah,
wow.
Everything. And imagine it was Halloween time. We changed the label, put it the prices, and we make it like a Halloween looking.
Yes.
And then
Christmas,
right after
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Nightmare.
The hardest working artist in Houston, man.
Okay. I'm good with that. Thank you.
Well, I've fallen in love with your eye and your ability to see things and see not only space, but the spaces between things and the relationships. And so if people wanted to look at your artwork, how, could you have a website if we wanted to see it? How can people find it?
Yeah, I think so. The fun way to look at my art is follow me on my Instagram.
Okay.
That is Ibraim Nascimento.
Okay.
And I will go to my website, that is ibraimnascimento.com.
Okay.
And then
we'll put those in the show notes as well so people can find it.
And like when you invited me to be part of this project for the book.
Well, let me talk about that just for a second. Yeah, because we did invite you to. So one of the things that kind of happens in this church is, and really kind of was birthed out of St. Paul's, is a nonprofit called Iconoclast Artists that works with students really in SBISD, HISD, Galveston, really all around the city. And we produce a book of poetry, short story writings from these kids. And every year we have a local artist do the book cover. And this year we asked if you would do that for us. And the art that you produce is absolutely, I don't want to say it's my favorite.
Oh, thank
10
you.
years of this, I just think, this captures something in this artwork that I just absolutely love.
Thank you.
Can you talk a bit about the art? I mean, it's
sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The one that you guys picked, it has about 8 years. It was even hard to find the picture when you send me like, can you send me a high quality? I'm like, where do I have it? I need to go find a way to make it high quality because I don't even have the art anymore. I sold it. So when they did it, they were doing a auction. I don't really remember.
It's okay.
But I remember they say like you can do whatever you want. Just bring a piece of art and put it here. And at the time, I was thinking about this, what I told you about being a kid and knowing what you do. And I remember I made one. That's the name of this piece was the kids. God as a kid.
Okay.
It's a picture of God as a kid. And is this profile of a kid with a halo, with a green background that you don't quite tell that it's a boy or girl.
Yeah.
it gives you a vibe of a girl, but you look at him, but like seems like a boy, and it's so intriguing looking at this picture because you can't identify gender.
Yes.
And then I love it how it came out.
Yes.
Like I want to reproduce something on this line where the kids they own the world.
Yes.
They are the creator of their own world. They are their own God. It's like when, like I told you, when they tell, this is it. This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is a horse. They get a piece of, I don't know now, toothbrush and say like, this is a horse. It's a horse for them. And then, so I wanted to create a piece that has like this kid concentrated and is flooded with creation. If you look at the image, it has a lot of little dudes and daughters, and it's full of creativity in there. I have been asked this many times, like, what those little drawings means, and like, do you know when you do something that you are good at, that you are very focused, and you zone out, and you're just there, and you are not hungry, you are not tired, you are just there, it's the
fully
flow,
present,
fully present, and then there is a force that feeds you, that keeps you awake, focused, and fed. And that is this bubbly thing. I would say, like, if somebody could see through the lens what's going on when I'm in zone, you would see all of those dudes and daughters.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's what those things are.
Yeah. Well,
pure creativity.
we'll put maybe we'll put the images on so that we can see them. But there's two of the images. One will be used for the English portion of the book, and the other for the Spanish. So the English portion is a profile of a boy. And then the other is really a girl who has either
like a
hoodie or a hair cover or something, but also both of them are distinct in that they have halos on them, which when I saw those I thought, oh, these are the students we work with. They are freighted and they have so much going on, and there's something of God that if we move too quickly and don't listen to them, we'll miss it.
Right.
And so the way that you captured that, I thought, oh, this really captures the students that...
the first one, the cover for English, that is the red cover, you see that this kid is concentrated, right? As they close it, the eye close it, they are like in the profile, he's like they're zoned out, right? Focus. And it's a moment of creation, right? But the other ones look at you like mystery, right? There's a mystery on those eyes. They're like deeply look at you. They have the head covered and kind of like a fabric or a hood. And there's so many questions in there. Like, it's good. It's good.
Well, we are so excited just to just to be in relationship with you. You've been, you've done work at this church at Chapelwood before as well, and we hope to continue to have a deep relationship with you in the years to come. Thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
We really appreciate it, and just love your work and your art. We'll put it on the show notes, like I had said before, so that if people want to come and find you, see what you do, get a hold of you. I know that you do commission pieces as well.
I do.
At times.
I do. I just did a work with Pastor DeAndre.
Oh, yeah.
In a book. Say Yes and Amen. And I did the illustration. That was a beautiful work together. It was a beautiful collaboration. Can I quickly talk about that? During the COVID, Pastor DeAndre, as he says, he was doing the doom scrolling.
Yeah, the doom scrolling.
Yeah, and then he's decided that he's seen so many catastrophe and so many sadness during the COVID time, and then he decided that he was going to write a prayer and post it online, something that he wasn't much familiar with doing digital. And he put this prayer, and then the next day he put another one, and then the next day, and then when it was like, I believe so, this fourth or fifth, I was keep looking at this come to my feed.
Yes.
And I like it. I was reading the prayer and like, interesting. So, and then one of the prayer inspired me. I made a drawing, and I sent it to him and say like, hey, DeAndre, just take a look at it. Your prayer inspired me. I made this drawing. You don't have to, but if you want, you can use to post it together with your prayer. If you have any other prayer that you want to post with a drawing, let me know. I want to pray with you in the way that I know, with my art. And then he said like, oh, Ibraim, this is amazing. Can I post it right now? I'm like, sure. So we started to do it every day. He was sending me a prayer around 6 p.m. And then I was making the drawing, send it to him at the latest like 9.
Wow.
And then he was posting it, I was posting it.
How beautiful.
And then we were doing this during COVID. And then we produced about almost 70 drawings and prayers together. And everybody was like, you guys should make a book. You guys should make a book.
Are you?
So we did.
Yeah, okay.
The name of the book is Yes and Amen.
Yes.
And then...
And DeAndre was on this on the podcast a few months ago, I think.
Oh, really?
I wasn't here. John Stevens, our senior pastor, who I interviewed him, and I wondered, did they talk about that? Yes and Amen. Okay. Mm-hmm. So can we buy the book?
Yes, we can buy it at Amazon. Or you can go to my website. There's a link to go to Amazon, and Yes and Amen.
Yes and Amen. You know, we'll also buy some for our bookstore downstairs. I wonder if we can have that for
for sure. So Kelsey, do you remember Kelsey, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So Kelsey was the one that called me one day and said like, "Hey, Ibraim, DeAndre's birthday is coming. I'm putting it together as a book, and I want to give it him as a present." So she put the book together and then gave it to him as a present, and he decided to publish it. And we
that's
published
great.
it.
That's beautiful.
It is. Like the way that it was born, so naturally.
Yes.
And again, like telling you, coming from a place of so many mix of culture.
Yeah.
And doing work in partnership, for me, is amazing because, like, it's not just DeAndre's voice in this book. It's not a DeAndre's book with some illustration.
No, it's a...
No.
Yeah.
It's a prayer book that you look at the drawing, you look at the prayer, and it flows together.
Yeah.
It flows together. And the way that we were doing... Because imagine, he was sending me this drawing, this prayer, was reading the prayer, immediately make a drawing, but I was doing an interpretation, right?
Yes.
And sometime I was sending him notes like, so this is what I thought, like I did with you, like this is my thought, like the echo.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why I put this, and then it was inspiring him to make the next one. And then when he was sending me the next one, so he was inspiring me making the drawings, and with my note, I was inspiring him making the prayers. So at the end,
beautiful.
This book is a really a thread. No, it's it's braid.
It's woven
braid.
together.
It's woven together as a braid, and so that's all. That's all that I like. Like everything is there.
Yes.
Like a person from Brazil, right? A guy from Houston, from USA. I'm not sure where he's from. Making a prayer together online, like it's out of the world.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
That's beautiful.
It is, and that's is how I identify myself. That's something that I recognize.
Yes.
I look at and I feel comfortable with. Working community, working in partnership. Of course, I have my own work that, again, I bring all of those doors that I came from. And it's hard when people asking me, like, which door you came from? Like, all of them at the same time.
Yeah, right.
like a water that just like
Just
burst
burst out.
came and busted out for all of the doors.
That's
like,
wonderful. That's wonderful.
So yeah.
That's great. Well, we'll list those things again in the show notes and allow people to come and find your amazing art. And thank you again. And your art will be on display on the books that the They Say in Eostisen that will be released at the Museum of Fine Arts next Thursday. And so thank you so much.
Great. I'll be there.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait to
and I
see you.
believe so tomorrow I come back here to sign some
you'll
posters.
be signing posters and we'll be raffling those off. It'll be great having your art around here. It'll be
This is amazing.
Phenomenal. Well, my name is Matt Russell.
Ibraim Nascimento.
And this is Pod Have Mercy.
Thank you.